Good evening, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2025 Australian of the Year Awards for Victoria. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jacinta Parsons and expect an enormous round of applause when I say that. Thank you. Joining you from ABC Radio Melbourne, and it's my absolute pleasure to be your host this evening at the Pavilion Arts Centre Melbourne in Naarm. Right around the nation, each state and territory have their own moment to recognise and celebrate extraordinary achievement, just as we are tonight. There'll be stories of courage, compassion, resilience and hope. They are the stories of often everyday Australians with a passion for making a difference. Whether you're here with us in the room or watching us online, and we'll wave at you there, at the australiaoftheyear.org.au, we welcome you. To commence formal proceedings, I'd like to invite Wurundjeri man Daniel Ross to welcome us all to country.
Thank you, Jacinta. A lectern, they're too colonial. There's something about them. No. How do you invite people into your home? With a barrier in front of you, with the door closed. And that's the way I view a lectern. My name is Daniel Ross, and I'm a proud Wurundjeri man. And tonight I want to invite you into my home, my ancestors' home. My ancestors lived along the Birrarung. The MCG, they called it home. It runs through country like the blood in our veins, providing life and resource. But we were forced off what was home to places like Bollambol and Billabong, and they established this place known as Corranderk. At Corranderk, we weren't allowed to speak our native tongue. We were forced to learn and read and write English before we'd be forwarded a meal, let alone a paycheck. So for everyone joining us tonight that speaks languages other than English, embrace it. Teach future generations. Because losing language is an absolute travesty to the fabric and identity of who we all are. We learn our stories from our old people, those living libraries. Embrace it. At the mission, Uncle Billabilary was our head man, and he walked from what we call Healesville today to Melbourne, Naarm, to negotiate our first treaty. It was 12 axes, a few bags of rice, and a couple of blankets. But the Crown ripped it up. Us natives weren't worth that much. But on that journey were two little fellas, Uncle Simon Wonga and Uncle William Barak. And if you visit the shrine and look towards Carlton, you'll see Uncle Barak standing over 30 stories tall, still overlooking home today. He gave my great-grandmother the tribal name, Bullumbulum, and it means white butterfly. And I've started to see them, but if I take you back to the beginning of the year, there was an abundance of little white butterflies absolutely everywhere. So gentle, caring, nurturing. Nam would be instrumental in opening the first health service for Aboriginal people right here in Victoria. Then I see my elders now advocating for the betterment of all, not just First Nations. And I ask you all to hold that at the forefront because it was one of Bunjil's laws, our creator, at the very beginning, on how we listen, how we care, and how we come together collectively as one. And before I welcome you to my home, my ancestors' home, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you here tonight that have embraced that, embraced the notion of coming together and making my home, our home, better for everyone. Woman Jika Wurundjeri Bullock, Yemen Gundibek. In the Woiwurrung language, I just said welcome to the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. Our traditional lands go west to the Werribee River, north to the Great Divide, east to Mount Borbor, and south to Mordialloc Creek. Nungodjin, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Daniel, for your beautiful welcome to country. And if I was more of a rabble-rouser, I would chuck this lectern, but I'm not. I'm going to keep it. I'd now like to invite Belle Bangard, who you may remember from The Voice, to sing the national anthem. And if you could be upstanding if that's possible. Thank you.
Australia's, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair. Beneath our radiant Southern Cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this commonwealth of ours renown of all the land. For those who come across the seas, we've boundless plains to share. With courage let us all combine to advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you so much, Belle. That was absolutely gorgeous. Guests, this evening we're here to celebrate some incredible Victorians, and I encourage you to show your support on social media using the hashtag Oz of the Year. Just to be clear, that's AUS of the Year. The Australian of the Year Awards shine a spotlight on the very special people whose contribution lead us, inspire us, and make our country a far better place. Welcome to all of our nominees and to your families and to your loved ones and guests. You all serve as a reminder of what can grow out of small seeds of action. I know that we will all learn from and be inspired by your tenacity and your commitment. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to Her Excellency Professor, the Honourable Margaret Gardner AC, the Governor of Victoria, the Honourable Jacinta Allen, Premier of Victoria, Mr Wayne Farnham, representing the Leader of the Opposition, Dr Michelle Andanda Raja, MP, Federal Member for Higgins, Mr Andrew Walter, First Assistant Secretary, Government Services, Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet, Mr Mark Fraser, Chief Executive Officer of National Australia Day Council. I'd also like to recognise the alumni in our audience this evening. Professor Janine Mohammed, 2024 Victorian Australian of the Year, Ms Glenys Ogis, 2024 Senior Victorian Australian of the Year, Darcy McGawley Bartlett, 2023 Victorian Young Australian of the Year, Professor Frank Oblaclade, 2023 Victorian Senior Australian of the Year, Ms Belinda Young, Victoria's 2023 Australia's Local Hero, Mr Ahmed Hassan, 2022 Victorian Young Australian of the Year, and last but certainly not least, Professor Patrick McGorry, our 2010 Australian of the Year. Thank you so much for celebrating our award ceremony with us this evening. And now this year, once again, we received thousands of nominations from the public who nominated an Australian who inspires them. After a very difficult shortlisting process, our 17 incredible Victorian nominees are here tonight. Each nominee was selected by a diverse panel of representatives from across Victoria, and thank you so much to the selection panel members who are also here with us this evening. Our nominees range from volunteers, professionals, and local community members to fearless advocates. They have each in their own pathways and motivations, and all I can say is get ready to be inspired as we hear their stories. One recipient will be announced in each of the 4 categories: Australia's Local Hero, Young Australian of the Year, Senior Australian of the Year, and Australian of the Year. Our 4 Victorian Award winners will then join the other state and territory recipients at the National Awards on the eve of Australia Day, where the Prime Minister will reveal our National Australian of the Year recipients live on the ABC. And it goes without saying that our nominees are already legends in Victoria's and, of course, Australia's eyes. And we so deeply thank them for their contribution to our state and our country. Can we please give them the loudest and best in the country? I don't want to be competitive. That definitely. If we were going to win an Australian of the Year award for clapping, let's do that tonight, okay? I now invite Her Excellency Professor, the Honourable Margaret Gardner AC, Governor of Victoria, to the stage. Again, please give her a very warm welcome.
Thank you very much. Now, you've had a very fulsome set of acknowledgements, but let me acknowledge at least a few people. The Honourable Jacinda Allen, Premier of Victoria, Wayne Farnham, Shadow Parliamentary Secretary to the Leader of the Opposition, representing the Leader of the Opposition, Dr Michelle Ananda Raja, Federal Member for Higgins, of course Mark Fraser, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Australia Day Council, and members of the Board who are with us this evening. Most importantly, the assessment selection panel representatives. It's a big job and it's important. The Australian of the Year alumni, who are wonderful, and you've heard about them. The 2025 Victorian Australian of the Year nominees, and everyone else here, distinguished guests, you all, one and all. Let me begin myself by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands on which this building stands, the Wurundjeri people, and pay my respects to their elders past and present, and thank in particular Wurundjeri man Daniel Ross for his warm welcome to country. A really carefully thought through welcome to country. I want to thank you for that. A short distance from where we stand lies the Burnett Institute. Its mission as a medical research facility is to place equity, that is the solving of issues of disadvantage, at the heart of medicine. Among its many contributions over the years, the Burnett Institute has helped respond to HIV in low-income countries, reduce hepatitis C in Australia, and treat tuberculosis in Papua New Guinea. The Institute is named in honour, as many of you know, of Sir Macfarlane Burnett, Australia's first and Victoria's first Australian of the Year. To this very day, the longevity and the legacy of the Burnett is continuing to change lives. As we mark the 65th anniversary of these awards tonight, it's important to reflect on where we've come and where we're heading. All of tonight's nominees have made an indelible mark on our state and our nation. To all of those nominees, your devotion to bettering our communities is, as you can see from the example of Macfarlane Burnett, not confined to the present when we look to what we see you've done. It's part of a legacy that will continue to shape, we hope, our future for the better. It's one of the reasons we do awards like this. We speak to what we celebrate. We speak for what we hope for the future. There's a very common saying that almost everybody knows about, standing on the shoulders of giants, and it's how people often feel when they're awarded that there were the giants before them. And people will feel that tonight. But your contribution, regardless of the field, continues a journey that generations of Victorians will continue to benefit from. Each Victorian Australian of the Year nominee represents not only themselves but countless other Victorians who've been uplifted by their work and who may be inspired by their work. Whether you've been nominated for your volunteer services, for your profession, for a particular set of achievements, you are being celebrated by your community, and that is what we're doing here tonight. You are being celebrated by your community for contributions that we admire and value. The Australian of the Year award aren't just accolades. They aren't things you put on your CV to show people later. They are a powerful symbol of recognition and appreciation from our community, and that's why they matter. You don't need an award to make a difference. And I know many are very humbled by these honours and always say, oh, how did they choose me? And I'm sure that you haven't gone about your work with the sole motivation of being recognised for your efforts. Because most of the people being recognised, and indeed all of the people being recognised, are being recognised for what they do to make a difference. It's important that we acknowledge that doing and the value of it and what we value in it. And in celebrating your work, we hope to spread your message to a wider audience so that you can continue to uplift others. I want to take a moment to thank those that nominated a candidate. The Victorian stories of passion, dedication and support for others may not have come to light without the efforts of you, those who nominated, those who noticed. While it might seem small, through the act of nominating someone, you're bringing their efforts to light and encouraging others, not just to take inspiration, but the thing we're all hoping for, to take action. To all family and friends gathered here tonight, I'd like to extend my personal thanks for your support to those nominated. Often this honour is a result of a very team effort, backed by the support particularly of loved ones. Without your support, these achievements might have seemed all but impossible. Victoria thrives on the dedication of individuals like those nominated tonight. It's a commitment to creating a better society in every way, in which it's not that in which we differ, not that which divides us, but that which unites us, that we are seeking to honour. It mattered yesterday, it matters today. Most importantly, it will matter most of all tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for those inspiring words. And from one brilliant Jacinta to another, I'd like to invite the Honourable Jacinta Allen, Premier of Victoria, to address us.
Thank you very kindly, brilliant Jacinta. It is indeed a great honour to be here this evening, and can I also join with others who have acknowledged the traditional owners of the beautiful land on which we're gathering on here this evening, the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people, and the neighbouring Kulin Nation groups, the Boonwurrung and Bunurong people. Pay my respects to elders past and present, those who are here in the room tonight, and also to thank you, Daniel. Again, it's always wonderful to listen, to sit and listen and hear your welcome to country. Thank you again this evening. The Governor has made a number of acknowledgements, but can I also too acknowledge our Governor, Her Excellency Professor Margaret Gardner, AC, Governor of Victoria, to my parliamentary colleague Wayne Farnham, representing the Leader of the Opposition, and to our federal parliamentary colleague Dr Michelle Anandaraja, Federal Member for Higgins. to Mark Fraser, CEO of the National Australia Day Council, to Professor Patrick McGorry, our former Australian of the Year, and of course the Executive Director of that wonderful institute, Victorian Institute in Origin, to all the previous year's alumni who've also been acknowledged here this evening, and finally, and most significantly, to this year's nominees and to all of your guests, thank you for joining us here tonight. Because tonight we are honouring a group of exceptional and outstanding Victorians, individuals who have saved lives and who have changed lives, who have defied the odds, rewrote the rules and raised the bar, and who've also too shone the brightest of lights on some of our darkest of challenges. Together, you play such an important role in the story of our state. But tonight is also too far more than the sum of those achievements. It's about the people you are, and in turn the values you hold. You are humble, you are selfless, you are brilliant. And even though you never set out to receive recognition of this kind, you are so absolutely deserving of it. Tonight, and with these awards, we celebrate your success, your achievements and accomplishments, but we also celebrate you, the incredible human beings who make it happen. Tonight too is also an opportunity to celebrate our amazing state, Victoria. Victoria has a very proud history of Australian of the Year winners and nominees, but of course to us here in Victoria that comes as no surprise, because ours is a state where big things happen. Victoria is a place where discoveries are made, where people are inspired, where communities from around the world come together and become stronger. We are the music and major events capital of Australia, where artists hone their craft in some of the best theatres, galleries and venues you'll find anywhere around the globe. We are the ideas capital of the nation, where some of the world's biggest thinkers are driving the world's biggest breakthroughs. And as a state, we are also home to some of the most inspirational individuals you'll ever meet. People who are making our future fairer and kinder, safer, and so importantly, more compassionate. Now you might say I am an overly proud Premier. Of course I am, because we are here in the best state, and the people we are celebrating here tonight are the absolute best of us. So to all of the finalists, you have been so crucial to building a more inclusive, clever and compassionate community that leaves no one behind. You inspire all of us too, can I say, to be better. So on behalf of all Victorians, thank you for your dedication, your sacrifice and the positive change you are making and creating in our communities. And also too, on behalf of all Victorians, thanks must go to your families and loved ones who've supported you, who've nurtured you and walked alongside of you on your journey every step of the way. So congratulations, thank you for everything you've done that brought us here together tonight. Best of luck as for those who head off to the National Awards in January, but to everyone, you've done us so proud, you've done Victoria so proud, and for that we give you our deepest thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Premier. Are we ready to kick off the awards proper? Thank you, Mark. I want a little bit more of that excitement and energy because this is the wonderful celebration of our evening. Our first 2025 Australian of the Year Award for Victoria is the category of Local Hero, which recognises Australians making a significant contribution in their local community. Let's learn more about this category, which is supported by the Department of Home Affairs.
Our local heroes are everyday Australians doing amazing things in their local communities. They represent what's great about communities. They keep their communities strong and they are the fabric of our society.
They'll tell you when we open our doors to our neighbours, we open our hearts and we give ourselves the chance to rejoice with others, to learn from them.
Rural people are worth fighting for because they get up and they show up in fire and flood and droughts and plagues and pandemics. and they put food on the nation's table. So the least we can do as a nation is make sure that they're getting support when they look for it.
Hey, it's Tony Burke, the Minister for Home Affairs. I just want to tell you why it's so important that we sponsor the Local Heroes Award. This award, people don't compete for it. People just do what they do. And I love when we recognise people who never sought recognition. There are people who are local heroes because they just very humbly go out and do jobs every day that show leadership through their work. There are people who are local heroes because they stand up for people who, when no one else is standing up for them. There are people who are local heroes because in a moment of crisis, they just step up without thinking about themselves and just helping others. But most importantly, everybody being awarded today did it because of their love of their community, the love of their country, love of the people you are helping. And that is worthy of recognition.
The award not only acknowledges work done so far, but gives encouragement to continue, and that's important.
It's not easy to just sit around and talk about the problems. I urge everyone, be kind and respectful. You too can be part of the change of the solution.
Building a world-class natural history museum is a multi-million-dollar investment. But my question to everyone here is, what is our continent worth? What is the education of our children worth? Australia's future is inextricably linked to its past, and our children are its future custodians. The more they understand it, the better they will care for it. To me, nothing is more important.
Amazing people there, and a lot of dictionaries in Tony Burke's office. The nominees for the 2025 Victorian Local Hero are...
Inspired by their son, Dr. Jennifer and Drew Herriot founded Full Spectrum Theatre, where children on the autism spectrum learn essential life skills through engaging and carefully designed classes. The children forge friendships and discover new talents as they take centre stage in heartwarming original plays, preparing them to step confidently onto the grander world stage. Jasmine Hurst has opened up soccer for hundreds of females across Victoria over the last 15 years. Launching the Darebin Falcons Women's Sports Club Junior Girls Soccer Program with one team in 2011, she's expanded the landmark program to become Australia's biggest female soccer competition. Trailblazer Jasmine is regularly lifting the bar with mentorship and further training opportunities to support female players and referees. Dr. Jana Katerin-Skaha has courageously held police to account for police-perpetrated family violence and is committed to supporting other victim survivors like herself. At a significant and unseen personal cost, Jana's advocacy has resulted in material and meaningful amendments to the Victoria Police Act 2013 and to independent police oversight practices. Jana also created a peer support and advocacy group for other survivors. Steve Lefebvre loves cricket so much he's donated his time, energy and passion to ensuring that everyone can seek glory for their community on the pitch. The founder and president of the Melbourne All Abilities Cricket Association, Steve created a community cricket model that includes players who have disabilities in the club identity. Macca is now up to 16 clubs and counting.
So lucky to have people like these in our communities, Your Excellency and Premier. I now invite you to present each nominee with their certificates. Firstly, I'd like to say congratulations to Jana Katerin-Skaha. Steve LeFay. Jennifer Herriot and Drew Herriot. And Jasmine Hurst. And again, let's give them all one more round of applause. Premier, you get to tell us who is our 2025 Victorian Local Hero.
Thank you, Jacinta. I'm very, very excited to announce that Victoria's Local Hero for 2025 is Jasmine Hurst.
Firstly, I must say I love a girl who did the right thing and walked all the way around the room to go up the way you were told.
I did do that, yeah.
How do you feel, firstly, knowing that you were put forward for this recognition as a local hero?
I mean, the whole thing, I guess like a lot of other people here, the whole thing is actually quite overwhelming, and you do just think, really? Me? But I mean, the feedback that I've had from the community that I work with since the nomination has just been absolutely amazing and wonderful, and it's really, actually that's been the best part of it for me, feeling, you know, the people who've commented what a difference it's made to their lives and the lives of their families. So, yep, it's been amazing.
Yes, beautiful. I'd love to know what actually started the work that you were doing.
Well, I was a soccer player myself. I started in my 20s and then wished I'd started a lot earlier when I discovered what a wonderful game it was. And I played with the Darebin Falcons, and there were a few of us there that had daughters, so I've two of whom are here tonight, of mine, who, when they were just 3 and 5, I think, we wanted somewhere for them to play, and we looked around the local community and the soccer clubs that were there, and there didn't really seem to be very much at all for girls at that time. It's quite different now, of course. We've had the World Cup last year, and the Matildas have shown us, you know, what a fabulous sport women's soccer is. But at the time, there wasn't very much, so we all just thought, well, let's just start something. And then we held a come and try day. I think we had 10 kids turn up. 5 were our daughters and their friends, and 1 was a boy. And then there were 4 kids there that we didn't know, and we thought, well, there's a market for this. This is something we should do. And then it just grew and grew and grew, and now we've got, I think this year it's about 550 girls playing.
And I must say, I feel really emotional that we're standing up here in front of your daughters as well. And like as we heard from Her Excellency moments before, this is not just about now, it's about a future and seeing them sitting in this audience. For you, what is that future? What changes do you want to see?
Well, I think last year with the World Cup was a really great example of where women's sport and women's soccer can go. One of the things that we're striving for is equal participation between male and female players, and we also want to see more gender diverse people included in the game as well. But then beyond that, and something we're really focused on at the Darebin Falcons, is the next sort of stage. We're getting girls and women involved in officiating and coaching and administration, because the numbers there are really low in terms of the gender equity there. So we really want to see that side of things progress as well.
What a wonderful opportunity for us to celebrate you tonight, and I just love that I'm holding the 2025 Local Hero for Victoria as Jasmine Hurst. Congratulations.
Thank
Please.
you so much. Thank you. Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
That was a renegade set of stairs that I'm sure I shouldn't have let her go down, but we've done it. We'll live with the consequences. Our next category is the Young Australian of the Year Award. This category is supported by the Australian Government Office for Youth. This award was introduced in 1979 and recognises inspiring young Australians aged between 16 and 30 years of age who have already accomplished great things. Let's hear more about the Young Australian of the Year category from some past recipients.
When you look at the Young Australians of the Year, we're all reminded that our future is in really good hands.
I've been given an opportunity in such a beautiful country to be myself, and for me the most important thing is to help the next generation and also inspire them to be themselves and follow their dreams.
We have the power to shape the future and make Australia a place where we're all proud, where we all belong, and where we stand united.
I'm beyond proud to congratulate you as our exceptional state and territory finalists for the 2025 Young Australians of the Year. Now, as Minister for Youth, I'm honoured to support and sponsor the Young Australian of the Year program, shining a light on the wonderful achievements of young people right across the country. Each of you are leading examples to your peers, your communities, and the entire country, creating a better and brighter future. You are each being recognised for your incredible achievements, demonstrating the extraordinary things young Australians can accomplish. Now, I can't wait to see the incredible contributions you will make next, and I wish you nothing but success.
The Young Australians of the Year have a really impressive energy and a drive to make Australia a better place.
I simply couldn't live with myself, knowing that there were Australians suffering from medical conditions that could be treated.
It is still crazy to me that I've done what I have in sport, and I want young kids to know that I was once in the same position that they are now, hoping and dreaming of one day of doing something big. I want to have an impact on people's lives by encouraging them to push hard and go after their dreams and what they're passionate about.
Yes. It's just honestly so reassuring and heartening and exciting to know that these young people are the future of our nation. And without further ado, our nominees for the 2025 Victoria Young Australian of the Year are...
Dr. Mohammed Al-Ibrahimi draws on his own background as a refugee from Iraq to drive positive change for Melbourne's Arabic-speaking community. Mohammed has established organisations that provide better health outcomes, social support and employment for marginalised people. He was awarded the 2024 Victorian Young Achiever of the Year Award in recognition of his passion for helping others. Aishwarya Kansekar is a world-renowned AI and automation entrepreneur, not-for-profit executive, STEM education innovator and automation engineer. Her startup, Synchroan, is building an exciting, world-leading AI-powered automation system. As Chief Operating Officer of Women for STEM, Aishwarya impacts over 66,000 women and girls to pursue STEM careers. Aishwarya is a role model for STEM across education, engineering and entrepreneurship. Yusuf Laban is the founder of Modest Fashion Runway, showcasing diverse fashion since 2018. He also leads the Multicultural Youth Group, empowering young people through workshops and community engagement, and recently hosted Australia's first Multicultural Youth Awards. As a community engagement advisor at the Victorian Multicultural Commission, he advocates for inclusivity and serves on several advisory boards promoting community safety and youth empowerment. He might only be 16, but Leonardo Puglisi mixes it with seasoned journalists with his own news reports. He created 6 News Australia in 2019, and he leads a national team of reporters using platforms like YouTube, TikTok and Twitter. Leonardo is inspiring young journalists around the globe and providing reliable, independent news for thousands of viewers.
And the Premier, would you please come to present each nominee with their certificate? Let's first congratulate Leonardo Puglisi. Aishwarya Kansaka. Yusuf Laban. Mohammed Al-Ibrahimi. Let's please give them all a huge round of applause. And Premier, it's your time to tell us who is the 2025 Victorian Young Australian of the Year.
Thank you. Our 2025 Young Australian of the Year for Victoria is Aishwarya Kansaka.
How exciting to get to talk to you about that incredible work, the photographs of all the things. I was just like, wow. Tell us, to be a bit more sensible about, where did the passion for this work begin?
I grew up in Nepal during a civil war, and back then we couldn't access education as freely as we wanted to. So very early on in my life, I think I realized that education was a privilege. And I only had the passion to do computing and automation. And so then I came to Victoria to pursue that, and Victoria being the state of education in Australia, no better place to go to, right? Right? So that's how I started with the passion, and I'm so fortunate that in Victoria they support us throughout. So, academic institutions, they don't just leave you after you graduate, they support you to commercialize technology you actually think of building. So that's been very, very helpful being here. I've also come to realize on that journey that it wasn't just Nepal that is left behind in terms of digital inclusion. Australia is also digitally unincluded. So 1 in 4 Aussies are currently left out. That's leaving them at a high risk of being left out in the long term as we enter the AI revolution, as you would know, now that everyone uses ChatGPT on a daily basis. So I think people from First Nations communities, people from different gender backgrounds, different diverse backgrounds, they're really left out, and we need to get them onboarded. I'm very fortunate that in my work as a COO for Women for STEM, we get to deliver lots of programs, 44 to be exact, every year. All the way from high school students up to university and career women. We empower them with upskilling, networking opportunities, and career opportunities. At SynchroWin, our company that we are currently building here from Victoria, which is making a world's first autopilot for manufacturing, we're very supported with the best engineering talent. We've got the best team of engineers from the best universities across our state. And the most amount of support from the state government as well. So we're very fortunate to do that. And finally, in terms of education, I get to give back through supporting young girls. We're impacting now 40,000 young girls, so couldn't be more thankful to be in Victoria and doing all of this.
Oh, to see you stand here today and so rightly receive this award to celebrate this work, I wonder what you might say to other young, Australians about how you impact change, how you go from that passion to now seeing this incredible outcome that you're making.
I think look for problems to solve. The most pressing problems will lead to the best solutions. The only way to write the future is if you innovate it yourself. So try to do that, and I think it's an iterative process. You will always fail, but you might just succeed. And when you succeed, you'll impact a lot of people, which is all that matters, right? Because the life that you spend in service of others is the life worth living. So please try, fail, and keep trying.
I don't want to let you go. I think we just need Aiwasha for the whole evening. I want to say a huge congratulations, and we wish you so much congratulations and luck for you to go from strength to strength. Everybody, it's the 2025 Young Australian of the Year for Victoria. As is quite common, I have goosebumps just listening to and being so encouraged by the work and the words of our incredible recipients and nominees. It's on to our next award, thanks to our category partner of the Department of Health and Aged Care. It's the Senior Australian of the Year Award. This award celebrates those Australians aged 65 years and over who continue to achieve and make a difference. Let's hear some more about our Senior Australian of the Year category.
The Senior Australian of the Year Award is an award that really carries a lot of respect because it's a reflection of many decades of work by the recipient.
Here in Australia, we are fortunate to be the home of the oldest continuing surviving cultures in the world. This is something we should be proud of and we should celebrate.
I pray that all people in our wonderful country, Australia, regardless of language, culture, skin colour or religious belief, may stand tall as proud Australians.
The Senior Australian of the Year Award recognises and celebrates the incredible achievements of older Australians around the country. As the Minister for Aged Care, I want to congratulate all of you on being nominated. Ageing well means staying healthy and connecting with community. Improving the lives of others shows your continued passion and commitment to living well. I wish you all the best in the finals, but importantly, I want to acknowledge that every one of you should be proud of your continued achievements. You are an inspiration to all of us, and your legacies will benefit the nation for generations to come.
The Senior Australians of the Year are inspirational not only to other senior Australians, but to all Australians, and particularly to the younger generations coming through.
Bystander first aid is proven to prevent death in those vital minutes before an ambulance arrives.
We need equal rights, including fundings, services, and resources, so we can work side by side and support each other. And together we can share new ideas to heal our nation. Kung ang madaya karambang ijama. Let us stand up and work together. Thank you.
With a lifetime of service and success, let's hear the stories of our nominees for the 2025 Victorian Senior Australian of the Year Award.
Dr. Peter Bruckner OAM's work has touched the lives of many Australians. He was part of establishing sports medicine as a medical specialty, creating a new path for future sports medicine practitioners. Peter also created the not-for-profit Sugar by Half to reduce the amount of added sugar eaten by Australians. And he founded Defeat Diabetes with the hope of putting type 2 diabetes into remission. Dr. Sandra Close AM is a pioneer and trailblazer campaigning for women's equality, particularly in mining and finance, for almost 60 years. She was the first woman elected an honorary fellow of the Australasian Institute of Mining and Metallurgy and is the only female recipient of its Sir Willis Connolly Memorial Medal. She's one of the Global 100 inspirational women in mining. Dr. Carolyn Cooper is one of Australia's longest-serving emergency medicine physicians and has dedicated her career to improving patient care. At Austin Hospital, Carolyn supported local aged care facilities to better manage residents in-house, reducing emergency department presentations. Her expertise enabled Warrnambool Base Hospital to achieve accreditation for its emergency department by attracting more highly qualified staff for the region and providing greater training opportunities. Volunteer Hiam Alasmar is deeply involved in supporting her community, providing guidance on fundraising and grants and helping those in need from Melbourne all the way to Lebanon. Hiam is a founding member of the Australian Lebanese Women's Christian Group, bridging the gap for those of all religious denominations who don't have the knowledge or language to navigate available services.
And our nominees for the 2025 Victoria Senior Australian of the Year Award are Hiam Alasmar, Dr. Carolyn Cooper, and don't jump off the stage. Dr. Peter Bruckner, OAM. And Dr. Sandra Close, AM. And please, a rousing round of applause for these incredibly important members of our community. And Premier, please tell us who our 2025 Victorian Senior Australian of the Year is.
Thank you. Our 2025 Senior Australian of the Year for Victoria is Dr. Peter Bruckner.
You actually skipped up onto the stage, so we're going to do a test on you to make sure that you are over 65. First off, tell me, what does it mean in the reception of this award?
Well, it means that no matter what age you are, you can still be useful, I guess. As we've heard from the young Australians, so with the older Australians. I think, we tend to get written off once you get to 65, and I think, there's a lot that... We've always had a lot of experience and lived, experiences, and I think we can put them to good use. But for me, what I'm really passionate about is getting Australians to eat better. I had my own health experience about 12 years ago, and until then I had really no understanding of the importance of diet. Even though I was a doctor, I knew exercise was important, but I didn't really understand about diet. And I completely changed or reversed all my medical issues by changing my diet. And that was a real light bulb moment for me. And I guess since then, I've become a passionate advocate of people eating better, and particularly people with type 2 diabetes. I think it's the biggest health problem in our country. We have nearly 2 million people in Australia with type 2 diabetes, and another 2 million with pre-diabetes. And we now understand that with proper diet, we can actually put a lot of these people into remission. And so my passion is to get that message out there and try and improve the lives of all those people with type 2 diabetes.
Incredible. And you mentioned it before, and we sort of laugh about this idea that, even though we're a bit older, we're still useful. In some ways, the work perhaps that's being done in our later years will be some of the most important we ever do.
Well, I certainly feel that in my case. I really want to make a difference. And with this program that we have, the Defeat Diabetes program, we can really make a difference. We've made a difference already to 12,000 Australians who've been on the program, many of whom have put their diabetes into remission. And we want there's still another 2 million people to get to, and that's my passion, to try and get to those people.
What do you hope with this award that you'll be able to do? Is it getting out at someone's time to go and take the dog out for a walk? For you, this is an opportunity, isn't it, to even grow that message further?
Yes, I hope it's a platform that, a few more people might listen to me because I'm the Victorian Senior Australian of the Year. Probably not, but you never know.
Well, we will, and we're so awfully honoured to have met you and congratulate you on this award, Dr. Peter Bruckner, for this evening. Well done. I kind of want this to go on forever, but we're actually at the final category for this evening. Of course, the 2025 Australian of the Year Award. The Australian of the Year Award celebrates the achievements and contribution of eminent Australians who are role models for us all. As you know, we've had some dynamic past recipients from many different backgrounds and sectors. It is such a privilege to witness what they achieved during their time as Victorian Australian of the Year and celebrate their causes, passions and achievements. Let's take a moment to hear from some of our past recipients.
I think we can all really aspire to be like the Australians of the Year. The Australians of the Year really help to shape our nation as we move into the future, which is why we should be so grateful for their ongoing work.
We have to have greater representation of people with a disability absolutely everywhere. In our boardrooms, in our parliaments, in our mainstream schools, on our dating apps, on our sporting fields, in our universities, absolutely everywhere.
If I can make a difference to someone else's life, if they can draw some strength by hearing what I say and knowing that I'm speaking on their behalf, it gives me a lot of hope.
I'm going to continue to be myself, keep standing up for what I believe in, and hopefully by doing this, other people will follow.
When you look back at the amazing list of Australians of the Year over the last 60 plus years, it's an extraordinary group of people. Musicians, athletes, scientists, Aboriginal leaders, advocates, environmentalists, rescuers. It's an amazing list of incredible Australians.
What if instead of spending their precious time and energy at war with their bodies, our young people were free to become the leaders, big thinkers and game changers the world needs more of right now? It's not our bodies that need to change, it's our perspective.
Our mission is 0 deaths from melanoma. To reach it, in addition to prevention, we need a targeted screening program and greater investment in research. This must be a national health priority.
Beyond melanoma and into the broader cancer field, more courage is needed to push treatment boundaries backed by science for the benefit of all cancer patients.
Premier and Your Excellency, please join me on stage for the last time this evening. Our nominees for this year's Victorian Australian of the Year are
Madeleine Buckner OAM was just 16 when she founded Little Dreamers, Australia's leading young carer support organisation. Little Dreamers vitally supports young people who provide care for a family member affected by disability, chronic or mental illness, addiction or frail age. Madeleine demonstrates how personal adversity can drive positive change, role modelling resilience and the power of hope. Soprano and composer Professor Deborah Cheetham-Freyon AO is a Yorta Yorta Yuin woman who's been an inspiring pioneer in the Australian arts. As Artistic Director of Short Black Opera and Dungala Children's Choir, she powerfully champions Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island musicians. Deborah established Australia's first Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander chamber ensemble, Ensemble Dootala, and composed Australia's first Indigenous opera. Neil Danaher AO was diagnosed with motor neurone disease, or MND, in 2013. He's since poured the energy he brought to the field as an Aussie rules player into the search for a cure. At 21 years old, Neil was Essendon Football Club's youngest captain and now brings that same drive to his fight against MND as the co-founder of the charity Fight MND. Wayne Holdsworth poured the heartbreak of the death of his 17-year-old son Mac into preventing others from having a similar experience. He created the charity Smack Talk in Mac's name and shares his story in a 40-minute life-changing presentation free of charge. Wayne's relentless courage in fighting sexual extortion and Australia's suicide epidemic is a service to and an inspiration for all Australians.
Your Excellency and Premier will do the honour now of presenting these remarkable nominees with their certificates. Our finalists are Neil Danaher, incredible as Neil finds his way onto the stage to look around this room and to acknowledge some of the wonderful former Victorian Australians of the Year. And this room so full of the love and admiration for the nominees this evening. Wonderful. We're also very excited to welcome to the stage Madeline Buckner. Professor Deborah Cheetham-Freon. And finally, Mr. Wayne Holdsworth. I feel enormously moved and very honoured to be in the room with all the nominees. Please, let's give them an enormous round of applause. I don't know how I can read this without crying. Premier, it's our final award. Who will be our Victorian of Australian of the Year for 2025?
Thank you, Jacinta. I am deeply humbled to be able to announce that the 2025 Australian of the Year for Victoria is Neil Danaher. And just while we arrange the stage so that we can absolutely enjoy the opportunity to speak to one of the great Victorians, and I should say one of the great Australians, it will be an absolutely wonderful opportunity for us to celebrate the incredible Neil Danaher tonight with this award, the 2025 Victorian Australian of the Year.
Congratulations. Neil Danaher. And we've got your wonderful wife, Jane, joining us on stage as well. Neil, I can't tell you there's not a dry eye in this room because we have watched you and your tireless advocacy and that incredible, beautiful smile that's lit up our stadiums and our world. And I can tell you we are awfully, awfully proud to congratulate you as our Victorian Australian of the Year 2025. Neil, with so much that you've achieved, and I know that this is such a big journey for you, what does this award mean?
Oh, look, I think when Neil was nominated, he was overwhelmed and so honoured and humbled to even be considered. And seeing everyone that was here tonight nominated and the people that won the awards, congratulations to you all. That's so inspirational. And it's just been amazing listening to all the stories. So for Neil to be included in this, it's incredibly special for our family and for you.
Neil, you're standing here with Jane, sitting here with Jane, and we know you mentioned the family before. This has been a huge thing, and what a wonderful thing to celebrate with the family, but to also show Neil the incredible tenacity and dedication that you have made for this incredible amount of time in the work that you do. I want to ask about that tenacity and that dedication. It's been such a huge journey for your whole family. How have you kept going for so long? What's been the driver?
Oh, look, the driver...
Literally.
Neil can't speak, but he can still get his message across, I can tell you that. Oh, look, the driver, you know, when Neil was diagnosed, 2013, there were no clinical trials, there was no hope. And so he and Pat Cunningham and Ian Davis got together and said, right, we need to do something about this. So the reason this is all happening is you know, it's all the people around Australia that have supported Fight MND, all the people with MND and all the people that have donated have made it all possible. And the reason we keep going is because in the years ahead, when we hear that someone's been diagnosed with MND, we want them to have hope. We want them to be some treatments. We want them to be a cure. So we'll keep working, and Neil will keep working for as long as he can, and we'll keep fighting.
Yeah. And again, returning to Her Excellency's words tonight, which was, of course, this is about our past, it's about our present, but it's about that wonderful future of hope. And we thank you not only for your tireless work for today and how you've changed our experience now, but I thank you on behalf of Victoria for what you have done for the future. And we thank you and your family, Neil Danaher. And we are going to raise the roof in congratulations for our Victorian Australian of the Year 2025. it'll be where were you that beautiful night that we got to celebrate one of the incredible Australians, and I don't know how I'm going to keep it together to finish this, because how lucky and how honoured we are, not only of course to celebrate Neil Danaher as the Victorian Australian of the Year, but to be in the room with all the nominees and every winner in every category of Victorian Australian of the Year. We are so, so lucky in this state to have such outstanding individuals. A round of applause, please, for everybody. And just a reminder how important it is to share these stories of our lives and what we do. And if you know someone in your life that deserves a nomination and deserves to have their story shared in the way, because it has that flow-on, inspiring impact on the rest of us, please get involved. It's not too early to get involved for next year. And in fact, australianoftheyear.org.au, you can click nominate and put someone else's name up in light. I'd also like to acknowledge the partners who made this all possible. We've already heard from our category partners, the Department of Health and Aged Care, Home Affairs and the Australian Government Office for Youth. We thank our broadcast partner, the ABC. Thank you so much to our media partner, Australian Community Media, reaching rural, regional and remote audiences around the country. Thanks to our accommodation partner, Crown Plaza Canberra, and to our cultural partner, the Australian National University, who produce those amazing trophies. Thanks to exhibition partner, the National Museum of Australia, and our legal partner, Minter Ellison. Please join me in thanking our partners who are vital in this support. Congratulations again. Every year that we are here, it is just such an honour. There's goosebumps aplenty. We're all going to need to hug each other now for the next hour to get through and to get home. Don't forget to tune in to the national announcement live on the ABC the evening before Australia Day. And just like tonight, it's such a truly beautiful and inspiring event. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and have a wonderful evening.